Hey everyone, welcome to the week in DSP. This is for the week of April 29th, 2019. This is a week that's full of stress and salt for our favorite streamer, Darkside Phil. So let's get into where some of this might be coming from with the events with Monday. The post here is from Kama on Kiwi Farms, and it's a long complaint during the pre-stream about stuff going on behind the scenes that he doesn't have any control over because nothing he could do. But at the same time, too, he's overworked behind the scenes dealing with a lot of this shit that he can't tell us about, but it's really stressing him out, and he's afraid that it's going to impact the quality of the streams. Now, this behind-the-scenes stress is kind of a theme that continues for the entire week. Phil does not address what this money situation, this money stress is behind the scenes, but he continuously, throughout the entire week, repeats it and asks his audience to tip him now to help him with this situation that he just doesn't want to talk to us about. And I find this to be very disingenuous from him because he's very upfront with other situations that he needs help with behind the scenes. Oh, Cat is moving. Well, I don't think he was upfront about Cat moving in and needing money for it. But his tax situation, he definitely came to his audience and said, hey, guys, I have to pay these taxes. I'm nervous. I'm stressed out about keeping my house or not. Please help me. Please tip me if you're going to contribute. We're back to the please tip me if you're going to contribute, but we don't know what our money's going towards. And it's a real interesting theory that he may realize that he's been tapping his audience so fucking hard, especially with the house situation, the tax situation, the vacation situation, which he now references why he needs more money because he lost money in April, according to him. But we'll get to the April roundup in a couple of days here. And the theory is that he's just been milking his audience so hard right now that if he tells them a situation that might be true, that no one is going to believe him because he just seems to continually hit emergency after emergency after emergency. They just don't seem to stop with Phil. At first it's taxes, then it's the parents are dying, his equipment is dying, YouTube screws him, Twitch screws him, Curse screws him, just constant errors that are completely out of his control, and he really needs your help to get over these hurdles. Tuesday, Phil finished Donkey Kong Country 3, and there was a fantastic clip, also captured by Kama again, where Phil killed Snowball, knocked him off the couch, and we get this wonderful shot of him hunching himself and crawling over the back of the couch in order to rescue Snowball.
I knocked over my... Oh no! What the... Oh no! Fuck! Ah! Poor Snowball. I'm sorry.
And what I really like about this clip is it shows three things. One thing which we already knew, and that Phil streams in pajama pants, and it looks like he's wearing pajama pants or sweatpants here. Number two, we get an interesting shot of the back of his head, which stirred up a little bit of controversy in the Kiwis, where a lot of people are like, oh my god, why is the back of his head so flat? I think that same observation has been pointed out in the moving vlogs where Leanna moves the camera over to the side of Phil's head while he's driving, and just the back of his neck goes straight up into his head, and there's no like curve for the back of the skull. And this kind of leads credence to the two theories of either Phil having fetal alcohol syndrome because his mom was extremely neglectful while he was in the womb, and he's admitted that, even recently talking about how he hates smoking because of how much his mom smoked. And even during the wedding podcast, he talked about how gross the house smelled of smoke because of his mom. Or the other theory is that he was neglected as an infant, which isn't mutually exclusive to being neglected while he was in the womb, and that he was laid on his back for long periods of time, and it just kind of deformed how he was shaped. The final thing that this shows is just how immobile this guy is. I don't know how true or not the backstory is, but when I see him struggle to lumber over to get to the back of his couch, like this guy couldn't just turn 90 degrees, reach his arm behind the couch and grab Snowball and just grope for him behind there. He can't turn his back. He has to turn his whole body to get to behind the couch. Now, I might be looking too much into this, but he's just so fascinating sometimes to see him outside of the usual sausage pose or serious gamer pose during his streams. When you see him in any other position, it's just wildly fascinating to see what Phil really looks like. I guess he also gives us a little bit of whale tail in the back too, so that's fucking great as well. How many stream mascots are we going to go through until he finally invests in some fucking Velcro or some tape or something in order to get the damn thing to just sit on the fucking couch cushion without it falling? With how fucking tiny and low quality his webcam is, these fucking mascots aren't offering any improvement to the stream. I mean, it's basically putting a cherry on top of a turd sundae. It just makes it look so lazy and so much of an afterthought. It's like, oh, I should put this $5 Beanie Baby on my stream to go with the other $5 Beanie Babies I put on the stream, and not even care whatever happens to it. But for some reason, go through this fucking need that it has to be in the camera shot, even if it falls out of the camera shot, to the point where we're pausing gameplay in order to rescue it from the back of the couch. Wednesday, May 1st, we get Phil playing some of Days Gone. And what's great about Days Gone is that he ranted and raved about not wanting to play it, going to skip this game, not spend the money on it. Don't send him any donations and say, put this towards Days Gone, because he's not interested in it. Until he got $100 and it said, use this to play Days Gone. And I think it was this week where he changed up his schedule to fit in Days Gone. Actually, yeah, it had to have been this week, because we get this tweet where after his first session of Days Gone, for whatever reason, the file that OBS recorded was corrupted and just would not process to YouTube correctly. And it prevented it from being pushed out on the mobile platforms. Apparently, it could still be watched on desktop only. According to Phil, he tried to re-upload it 3 times, and whatever corrupted version, I guess, got deleted by YouTube. When he finally did get the part 1 re-uploaded, he added it at the 11th place in the playlist instead of rearranging the playlist to put the new re-upload at the back. And he didn't try to troubleshoot anything to try to get this to work. He was just like, re-upload it, process failed, could not be completed, delete, re-upload. He didn't try to mux it, I think is what it's called in OBS. He didn't try to re-encode it because he doesn't have a video editor or even a free video editor. And I just love how he talks about this site, aka YouTube/business, is worse by the day. I honestly don't know how to get part 1 visible at this point. Keep that in mind the next time YouTube suddenly isn't paying him any more money, or he gets demonetized again, or some other emergency happens to his YouTube channel. Then all of a sudden it's going to be like, I need it. I need to keep the YouTube channel. Now, at the end of the Minecraft stream on Wednesday, we encountered a really great situation, which I think just goes to show how stressful things are for Phil this week, in that at the end of the stream, when he was done playing the game, he's starting to close down the stream. He's saying thank you to the people who contributed, not, you know, he's Android Xing us, as Tevin would say. And he says, he asks for people to give him tips until he comes back on Friday, because Thursday is his day off, of course. I mean, the main tax hurdle is over at this point. We don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but it's creating a scenario for Phil where he is begging for tips at the end of his streams, which I can't recall in the last year that I've been doing this was the last time or any time that Phil has done this. He's made separate videos to his YouTube channel to encourage his YouTube audience to go to his Muxy link and now his Streamlabs link in order to leave him tips if they want to see him continue making this content. But that's a separate video that's not recorded live. This is to the live audience to get more money to end up in his coffers. Nothing I Can Do posted a screenshot of Phil's Patreon, and I really enjoy these little snippets because it kind of archives the Patreon process. I'm sure there's a website that shows the up and down trends of his Patreon, but his Patreon has just been slowly slicking down the slope even further, where now he's lost 3 more patrons and $38 of support. I know on the day of recording this that his Patreon is even lower than this, but I like these kind of occasional updates so we can see the trends as they're happening, and allows me to screen cap and add them into the videos like this. Now, Thursday, on Phil's day off, he did finally get to upload the Days Gone playthrough part 1, like I said before, through the use of a free video editor, because he was then able to re-encode the video finally. Now, my favorite thing about this is how he chooses to name it only 3 days late thanks to YouTube. Additionally, on Thursday, we had someone leak what the bounty boards for Twitch TV were. Now, the guy who leaked the boards, I'm guessing, was someone who has a large audience, because they were being offered something like $4,000 for an hour of gameplay of League of Legends. Well, the leaks caused a little bit of a stir in that Golden Colts, one of Phil's top pay pigs, tweeted at him and asked if he was going to try to play one of these games and try to, earn a little bit of extra money by streaming a little bit. But Phil mentioned that he's been completely locked out of the program, even though it's completely optional. Sad but true. And just a little bit of extra salt, especially when you compare it to, as Bears and Trees has in his screen caps here, to Kriparian, who's a Hearthstone streamer, but it looks like he's even going to break away from Hearthstone to take advantage of the League of Legends bounty. That's what a successful Twitch streamer looks like, by the way, folks. Friday at 1 a.m., we got actually posting the monthly roundup of Phil's finances. And I just want to point out the TLDR, Phil got a between $7,800 and $9,500 for this month, which is approximately average. And the reason why I would point this out, and it was discussed briefly on the Kiwi Farms, is that Phil likes to reference the week he was gone in April as losing hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. But I want to point out that he ran 2 marathons and did a long podcast about his trip when he got back. And these kind of special events actually tend to bring in the pay pigs money a little bit heavier than just his regular daily gameplay streams. So he more than made up for having that week off and turning it into an average month. In addition, if you think about it, Mama Burnell paid for everything on the vacation, according to him. So that's like free money, but it was put towards things already for him: food, travel, lodging, spending money, the rings, the wedding. All of that was paid for by his parents. So that's money he still got for free. Plus the tax amount that he needed from his mom in order to qualify for the payment plan. He made, I mean, these are extra amounts of money that don't get financed into Actually's post, because he's really only looking at Twitch, Patreon, and YouTube. So if you want to think about it from my point of view, with all the free shit Phil got from his mom, he probably made out like a bandit in April. On Friday, Phil revealed what his behind-the-scenes stressful issue has been for him. And turns out, it's money.
The one major way you can help me right now in the short term is by tipping me. And this is kind of urgent at this point, reason being, one of the things that I've been talking about here on pre-stream is that I was bothered by financial stuff behind the scenes during my day off yesterday. One of the things that happened was my tax guy contacted me and said, okay, I'm going to begin the process of, getting you on this payment plan for your taxes that you owe to the federal government. But I want you to make a payment against your account because you owe me for doing your federal taxes this year. He charged me over $1,200 to do that, and I don't have that money. So I have to start paying him slowly for the federal taxes. I have to make a major payment. So what I'm doing is I'm taking all those tips that you guys gave me over the last week and making a payment to him with them. So that's all well and good. That means that's going to help me with the tax situation. But now all those tips that I was going to put towards bills and stuff this month are now gone because they have to go to my accountant or / tax attorney to get him to do the work on the federal tax plan. So you see what I mean? It never ends. But sadly now I'm in a situation where this month Everything's going to be insanely financially tight to the point where I know at one point I'm going to be behind on payments on stuff. There's no way I'm going to be able to pay that all. I just know it. Because I don't have enough money. What happened was, I was not here streaming for a whole week in April. And all the money that I raised previous to that time away went to taxes, So it's not like I have any extra funds at all to make up for the fact that this month I'm going to make a lot less because I wasn't here for a week last month. And being very upfront and transparent with all of you, I need tips to pay bills this month. If I don't get enough tips this month, I can't pay certain bills. I don't know what's going to happen. Obviously, they're all going to say I'm late fees and shit and everything's behind, and it sucks. I basically need to try to make extra money this month via tips, all right? So if you absolutely are going to contribute and you can, all right, please tip me.
And it's tax related. His tax guy apparently has been trying to approach him to get paid for the work that he's done on Phil's account. Now, apparently he needs $1,200 in order to clear the account in order to file Phil's taxes. Now, with the quotes that Kama took from this clip, one of the things that he pointed out was all of the money that he raised over his marathons prior to his vacation had to go to his taxes. And this is kind of the what the fuck point for me, is that he needs money to pay his taxes. He doesn't have the money to pay the tax guy for the work that his tax guy's done because he paid the taxes. But his tax guy isn't going to file the paperwork for his taxes, isn't going to put the money into his taxes until he's been paid the $1,200. At least I think that's what Phil was going on with this 2-minute rambling pre-stream clip. The last point I want to make on Friday comes from Phil asking in his chat, not directly into his microphone, about which game is performing better on Twitch TV currently, Mortal Kombat 11 or Days Gone. This is easily solved by him going to twitch.tv and clicking on browse and scrolling for a little bit. Now, you would think someone who does Twitch for a living for his job would be able to do the research for his job to figure out what game related to his job would be the better one to stream if he wanted to get better numbers and better metrics on Twitch TV. But I mean, that's if we're dealing with a normal individual. For Phil, though, he has to let his audience do the work for him and just trust that they're not a troll leading him astray. So Moisey points out that Mortal Kombat 11 is just edging out Days Gone by like 500 viewers at the time. Saturday, we got one of my favorite jokes to come out of the DSP channel, where Phil was talking about how he still has his pectoral muscles. He talked about he does lose muscle if you don't use them, but he's kept the core muscles underneath his pecs and that he can still do the pec dance. I don't know what kind of delusional world Phil lives in, but this just further adds to the evidence that he's living in a delusion where he thinks he's only eating 1.5 meals a day, getting enough exercising by going once a week, and that he still has some muscles. I didn't put a clip for any of this too, but he also made the claim that he could still do a backflip if he didn't have his back injury. I think he honestly might believe the fan art that's drawn of him is real. The last bit for Saturday comes from Nothing I Can Do, where the individual who had purchased the portal gun replica from DSP, the unopened 1/1 replica scale portal gun, posted it to Twitter and tagged "They Call Me DSP," which is Phil, of course, and that's just making it pretty obvious about, number one, what you look like, and then, I mean, the gun does look kind of cool, but number two, that you prove that Phil just got an influx of cash of $500. Now, through a little bit of my own shenanigans, I also got Phil to reveal to me that he made this person pay $70 in shipping and handling to ship this from the West Coast to the East Coast. And he said that this was a 5-pound package. Now, I'm going to call bullshit on Phil and his shipping policies here with his statues. Number one, if you are interested hypothetically, I don't think anyone in my audience is interested in purchasing anything from Phil. You are stuck dealing with Phil directly on whatever policies Phil has, and whatever PayPal or your credit card company or however you send the money to him will do to protect you as the buyer. By going not on a website like eBay, you avoid having the protections given to the buyers to stop them from being scammed from product or forcing the sellers in order to take refunds. This is so Phil doesn't sell you a broken statue and then you have no way of really claiming your money back outside of filing it as a fraudulent charge with your credit card company. Because, I mean, Phil's not going to take a refund and let you ship something back to him, and he's not going to pay to ship it from you back to him, especially if it costs $100 allegedly to ship it to you in the first place. He's never going to eat those costs. Everything is going to be on you. If you get the statue and you're unsatisfied with it, you're going to have to pay to send it back to him if you want the sum of your money back. You're not going to get the shipping costs back, though, obviously. Now, I'm not going to go too hard into the person who bought the portal gun. They are a transgender furry, so that just covers all bases. And I really can't fault a lot of people if they've fallen for Phil's pignosis and they haven't woken up yet. We've been seeing a lot of people wake up recently. If people just don't have the mental capacity to realize that Phil is a scammer, like if there's someone like Bad Bunny who just can't fathom that a Twitch streamer can be a bad person because they're frauding their audience, basically. Defrauding, whatever it is. Holy shit, I gotta stop with the basically, gotta stop channeling the Ross, dial back the autism. So also on Saturday, last point is, during Blackout, Phil made the comment that if he had gotten on Twitch earlier, he would be one of the biggest Twitch streamers, right up there with Dr. Disrespect, right up there with Ninja, right up there with Tim the Tatman, Shroud, all of these guys. If he started 2 years earlier in 2014/2015 and didn't shit on it like he did before, then he would be the top guy.
Explain that. I fired full aim into his body. I had full level 2 armor. And I fired first and I died. This is fucking stupid at this point. I'm just getting cheated now. I was ready for that guy. I fired into his body first. I died almost instantly. Complete bullshit. But yeah, YouTube falling apart at the seams, a place where you can't make money or nothing anymore. And I wish that my one mistake is I didn't start full-time on Twitch sooner. If I had started full-time on Twitch, let's say between 2014, 2015, and it became my focus, and I made it all interactive, I think that I could have ended up being huge. I could have been one of the bigger Twitch streamers. But because I jumped on, I didn't start really full-time until 2017. Yeah, there's a place for me here, but it's never going to be a place where I'm big. You know what I mean? Like, I'll be okay. With bigger games, I'll get a little bit more views. But usually, I don't have a ginormous audience. I doubt I ever will. Because the people who really are the biggest people on Twitch are either people who jump on fads or people who've been doing it forever. And I'm not either. You know what I mean?
I've joked about this in previous Weekend DSPs. What would Phil's life be like if he suddenly was successful and instead of making $100,000 a year, he was making $100,000 a month? But his repeated examples of how poor he is with money management, I would just see him getting more money in, and then instead of having 2 houses, he'd have 10 houses or some other fucking financial disaster he would inevitably put himself into. And then how do you explain people who've joined even after Phil has joined, and they're even more successful than he is, allegedly, with more plentiful viewers and less begging, I guess would be a good way to see how good a stream is doing or not. Now, to be fair, I am excluding Twitch thoughts from this because it's basically show up, show your tits while you're still hot, get your money, and then get out quick. So I think I would have been bigger on Twitch if I did it earlier, combined with oh, I still have my muscles, guys, I can still do the peck dance, just really goes to illustrate how far deluded Phil is in his own little fucking world that he's painted for himself. Sunday's stream was almost a disaster, except for Rob Warren, who was celebrating his 32nd birthday by donating $32 to Phil of the $38 that Phil raised for the entire stream. So big ups to Rob Warren for saving the stream there. This was during the Mortal Kombat 11 lobbies, and there was a very talented Aaron Black player who was just running a train on the entire lobby. In the second stream, we had the new mod, Master Sarutari, kind of defending Phoenix Wright extremely heavily against the chat when people were commenting that they weren't a fan of the game or the fan of Phil's voice acting, to the point where Saru was banning and timing out people who disagreed with his opinions on how good of the fucking game that Phoenix Wright is. The last bit of great DSP news happened on Sunday, where right at the very tail end of Phil's stream, he got hosted by another Twitch partner by the name of Bad Bunny, and she started doing her attention whoring and demanding Phil acknowledge her host. Phil has notifications turned off for hosting, presumably to prevent people from trolling him by making a troll name, starting a stream, and then hosting Phil, so then it would show Jubbity Bubbity hosted Phil with one viewer. You could probably fit in whatever name you want instead of Jubbity Bubbity. However, after Phil finally acknowledged her host, Saru decided to open his big mouth again when he's already on thin ice, I would assume, for banning people for just not liking a game that Phil's playing. And, Saru even got told by other mods to, chill out, dude. He was like, well, thank you for the host, I guess, Bad Bunny, even though I've never heard of you. So that's just kind of like a backhanded compliment. Thank you for the host, you fucking nobody. Even though you have a purple check mark, fuck you. And that does it for the week in DSP, guys. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I tried to keep it to the quality that I could be proud of, even though it's on the shorter side. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, and I hope to see you in the next stream or video. Take it easy and have a good rest of your day or night.